April 25th, 1915, the day that would become the largest naval assault in the history of the world at that time, the Battle of Gallipoli. Most of us will begin to make connections and equate this to the D-Day of World War I. Hello, my name is BloodHound, and welcome to the first episode of a potential new series which I'd like to call Battlefield 1 History, where I take a look at numerous battles, stories, and weaponry of the First World War and give a brief summary of the history involved in Battlefield 1 and turn it into a more digestible influx of information. So let's go ahead and take a look into how the assault began. With the Ottoman Empire just recently joining the war on the side of the Central Powers, they decide to invade the Caucasus and face against the Russian Empire. Although Russia had the superior manpower, it lacked the more modern weaponry of the time. Russia turned to its allies, Great Britain and France, for help. Britain and France agreed and decided to make their way to Russia through the Black Sea, along with making a secure route to Russia for supplies. Allied forces could also take the Ottoman city, Constantinople, in hopes that it would crush the Ottoman Empire with the combined efforts of Russian forces and hopefully knock out Turkey out of the war. Going through the Dardanelles Strait would create a route to Russia and give much needed supplies to the separated allies. The offensive was spearheaded by the First Lord of British Admiralty, Winston Churchill, despite heavy opposition. The allies mustered up British, French, and Anzac forces to begin the assault, with approximately 60,000 Australians and 18,000 New Zealanders to be part of the larger British force, along with the Royal Navy to support. With everything ready to go, the invasion begins. Before the crack of dawn, at 4:30 a.m., British Royal Navy begins to rain covering fire onto the beach and weaken the defenses for their troops to storm the beach head-on. Almost immediately after leaving their boats, battalions of Allied troops were under heavy fire from Ottoman forces. By mid-morning, Allied troops managed to push back Ottoman forces inland towards the first range of hills against all odds, whereas the Anzacs landed somewhere off to the distance. Being slightly blown off course by a sea current to the north, they soon find themselves against an extremely steep hill, and thoughts of concern and doubt begin to grow as they find themselves in the most inconvenient part of the peninsula. This landing would soon be called Anzac Cove. When the Anzac forces reached their first objectives, Plugs Plateau, although the Turks were already pretty much dealt with, they still found themselves under gunfire from the Ottomans, to the point where building trenches seemed impossible due to the constant gunfire. They couldn't see where it was coming from, making it extremely difficult to retaliate or make safe cover. Despite all that, Anzac forces continued to fight for as long as they could and took fearful amount of casualties and injuries despite it all. True bravery. By the end of April, Anzac and Ottoman losses reached into the tens of thousands. On the main assault, Allied forces took very little ground. They'd hold on to what little land they could take onto and defend against the endless onslaught of Ottoman forces. The losses were so great that the entire operation was deemed as a failure in the eyes of the Allied forces, making the defense a successful victory for the Ottoman Empire, and drove the invaders off their land. With the battle viewed as a failure, the Allied issued an immediate evacuation from the region, starting on December 7th from Sova Bay, with the last troops among them being the Anzacs, leaving Cape Hills on January 9th, 1916. Nearly 480,000 Allied soldiers participated in the Battle of Gallipoli, although at a cost of over 250,000 casualties, including 46,000 dead. For the Turks, they saw over 250,000 casualties as well, and saw over 65,000 dead. Among the factions that took place in the offensive, those would include Turks, Germans, Austro-Hungarians, British, French, Australian, New Zealanders, Indians, Ceylonese, Greeks, Arabs, Egyptians, Newfoundlanders, and Maltese. Now, breaking history and bringing it back to Battlefield 1, I decided it was nice to cover the Battle of Gallipoli. With the release of Turning Tides fast approaching on December 11th, we'll be able to relive the historical moments of the Battle of Gallipoli in our own fashion. If you enjoyed this video to any extent, leave your thoughts in the comment down below, and any constructive criticism would be greatly appreciated. Suggestions for any upcoming episodes will be welcome as well. I don't have a set schedule for these videos, depending on how well this video is received. Anyways, enough beating the bush, and let's get right to the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of content, and whether it'll be another video of Battlefield news or history, my name is BloodHound, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.